Hello, I'm David Chaston with 90 at 9, brought to you by interest.co.nz. This week at Everything You Need to Know in 90 seconds at 9 o'clock, with news the amount of tax the big four accounting firms actually pay themselves is in the spotlight. But first, the American trade deficit in goods is rising fast. In July, it was a deficit of over $83 billion US. That is almost 20% worse than the same month a year ago, and the worst single month ever. Their exports are up 9%, but their imports rose 13% faster. Over the past year, they now have an $836 billion goods deficit, a rise of nearly 9%. American consumers are voting clearly with their wallets. They just don't want to pay higher prices for local goods. The deficit at this level is 4.2% of American GDP, and all up, that's imports plus exports, account for 21% of US GDP. Perhaps this aggressive buying of imported goods is behind the rise in consumer confidence. It rose in August to its highest level since October 2000. Early signs point to a faster rate of local price increases as a result, reinforcing the appeal of imports. And things actually might get worse. Early analysis of the US-Mexico NAFTA agreement for cars shows the Mexicans have scored a great deal, and it seems likely US producers will shift production to Mexico, chasing those benefits. In China, a new draft of the Civil Code submitted yesterday to the Standing Committee of the National People's Congress removed all family planning-related content, according to a report published in the Communist Party's People's Daily newspaper. And back in the US, the Securities and Exchange Commission said that credit rating agency Moody's has agreed to pay a total of $16 million in penalties to settle charges involving internal control failures and failing to clearly define and consistently apply credit rating symbols. This marks the first time the SEC has filed an enforcement action against credit rating symbol deficiencies. In Australia, the opposition Labor Party, which seems likely to win government at the next election, wants the big four accounting firms, that's Deloitte, EY, KPMG and PwC, to disclose how much tax they pay as a condition of winning big government contracts. The firms are bristling at the idea and have promised to fight it. US Treasury 10-year yield is up another 3 basis points to 2.88%, and the 210 curve is now at 21 basis points. The Aussie government 10-year is at 2.56%, that's up 2 basis points. The Chinese government 10-year is at 3.65%, unchanged, while the New Zealand government 10-year is at 2.63%, also up 2 basis points. And gold is slightly softer today, giving up yesterday's gains. It is down by $4 and now at $1,205 an ounce in New York. US oil prices are softer today too, now just over $68.50 a barrel, while the Brent benchmark is just over $76 a barrel. And the Kiwi dollar is firmer at 67.3 US cents. On the cross rates, we're now at 91.5 Aussie cents and 57.4 Euro cents. That puts the TWI at 70.7 in its average over the past month. I'm David Chaston. That was 90 at 9, brought to you by interest.co.nz.